Welcome to the Pearson Show's Personal Injury Postscript.
Hello and welcome back to Pierce and Schaus Personal Injury Postscript with Chris Schaus. Chris is a Baton Rouge personal injury attorney who has been representing clients in southeastern Louisiana for more than 30 years. He began his career in insurance defense before founding Pierce and Schaus in 1992, where he now focuses on helping accident victims rebuild their lives with clarity, compassion, and strong trial advocacy. I'm Chelsea, and today we're talking about a situation almost every accident victim will face: how to deal with insurance adjusters after a car, truck, or motorcycle accident in Louisiana. Hey, Chris, welcome back.
Hey, Chelsea. Thank you for those kind words. I'm glad to see you again.
What does an insurance adjuster do after an accident?
To start with, that's almost not a good term anymore. When I began practice, they were all insurance adjusters, but nowadays they're claims specialists. I think that distinction is now they don't have any authority at all. Back in the day, an insurance adjuster was measured, their rank in the company was measured by their standing authority, how big of a claim they could settle without getting a supervisor's clearance. Nowadays, claims specialists, that's who my clients speak with when they first have an accident. They get a call from somebody who says, I'm a claims specialist with XYZ Insurance, and I want to talk to you about that accident. They're claims specialists because they can't actually adjust claims. They collect data in a very rudimentary form, and they forward it to a claims committee, and that claims committee gives them instructions and authority and monetary suggestions and so forth. The claims adjuster is collecting data, and specifically they're collecting data to try and lock down the facts in the claim and the value of the claim. They specifically want to preserve the evidence that is beneficial to their position, to their insured's position. And so what they're trying to do is find evidence that minimizes injuries and damages, find evidence that shifts liability off of their insured, finds evidence that results in a denial of coverage under the policy terms. So their goal is to get the data, memorialize the accident, but their focus is get the evidence that we want. Let the other side worry about evidence that's not helpful to us.
Wow. Okay, so why should somebody who's injured in Louisiana in an accident be cautious when talking to an adjuster, or you called it a claims specialist?
Those folks, even the new ones, there's a lot of young people in that industry. Even the new ones have been sent out to claims handling schools and have been trained. And of course, if you get a more experience, when I deal with adjusters and claims specialists who have been 20 years in the business, so they've got a lot of experience. They know the language, they know the law, they know recent developments. Insurance companies obviously are giant corporate entities, and they deal in data, thousands and thousands of claims, and so they're constantly mapping and collecting evidence of trends and legal developments. The ride sharing was a big change. So those folks have a lot of expertise. I have clients who say, I had an accident 25 years ago. I handled it myself. I was able to work through it without a lawyer. And I don't see why it should be any different now. I'm not looking to make a bunch of money. I just want a fair resolution. What's changed is back then, insurance companies realized that they had to get the claim resolved. They were going to pay something. They were seeking a fair and efficient resolution. That's not the case anymore. And so they're actively looking to wash your claims out by hook or by crook, whatever they can do to minimize it. Those folks all get evaluated annually on their average cost per claim. They do everything they can to reduce the cost of their claims because the guy in the cubicle next to him might have a lower cost per claim and he's going to get the raise or the promotion or keep his job. These are highly trained, skilled folks working in a very complicated environment with a strong focus on reducing the value of your claim.
So, if you're contacted by an insurance adjuster or claim specialist immediately after an accident, what should you do?
I think what you do at that point is to say, it is really to get off the phone as quickly as possible. Uh, those calls that come in, sometimes they're looking to collect information. Sometimes they've already collected information and they're looking to try and get a rush release, get a quick settlement out of you. Uh, your best answer in the immediate aftermath is to get off the phone. Uh, you can certainly compose an email and say, here's my information, my license, my vehicle make and model, and here's where it is, or here's the damage. In a verbal exchange with them, we see testimony down the road. Well, I spoke with her the afternoon of the accident, and she didn't complain of any injuries then. She didn't sound as if she was hurt. They are again focused on minimizing the severity of your claim, the value of your claim, and that's what their conversation is going to be focused on. Folks who don't have experience in the environment should get counsel and not be taken advantage of there.
What are some polite ways that are, ending the conversation quickly so something like that doesn't happen down the line?
I'm still shook up from the accident. I'm still rattled from what happened. I've been dealing with getting medical appointments. I haven't had time to collect my thoughts. I don't have my notes with me. I'll speak with you when things have calmed down.
Excellent. Okay. What are some common questions or tricks that an insurance adjuster claim specialist might use that can hurt an injury claim?
Good afternoon, Chelsea. Thank you for returning my call. I'm Joe Smith with XYZ Insurance. How are you today? Good, good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. It goes on from there. But you've just suggested that you're doing well and you're not hurt, perhaps. When you say, well, I'm fine today, you didn't take that question as, do you have any injuries from the accident? But they may take your answer as something other than what you intended. So that's one of them. In the course of questioning, is there anything else you could have done to avoid the accident? Well, that's a really big question and covers a lot of ground and has a lot of legal implications. Most folks who've been in an accident recently, they don't have a drone view of it. They don't have notes. They don't have any data on it. They have a single hurried perception of an emergency event. And so a lot of those questions are not really fair, but that's not much of a concern for an adjuster making a call right after an accident. So those are the kind of things that you have to worry about. The other thing is people say, well, hey, I talked with them. They offered me some money. Well, did you accept it? Well, we talked about it, but I know I'm not bound by anything I say on the telephone. It has to be in writing for me to be bound. And that's a dangerous opinion and a risky place to be. Louisiana, back I believe 2001, enacted the Electronic Claims Settlement Act, or Electronic Claims Resolution Act. I forget the name of it. It's 9/2606. Most of the litigation has been over when you're with your agent selecting coverage. Is that binding by phone? When you waived your coverage in a telephone call, was that a binding election to decline The courts have said yes because of that Electronic Signature Act. So people need to be aware. You can form a contract that's binding by telephone, and you should be very careful about that.
Oof. What evidence, like photos, witness names, or medical records, should accident victims collect before speaking with an insurance company?
Well, everybody's got a pretty good camera in their pocket these days, and certainly my stock answer is, boy, take pictures. Take pictures up close. Step back a little bit and get the whole scene. Get where the cars came to rest. That kind of thing. But the one that really makes me frustrated quite often is, did anybody stop? Yeah, a couple of people stopped and kind of helped me get out of the car and get out of the roadway and so forth. Oh, good, good. That's nice. So did you get any information from them, a name or a phone number? No, no. We talked a little bit, and I said, well, thanks for the help. I think I'm okay, and I sent them on their way. And of course, after the witnesses leave, the other driver changes their story about what happened in the accident. And boom, we had eyewitnesses, but we don't anymore. And that's a really frustrating thing. Pull that phone out. Younger people are good about it. They pull the phone out and take pictures. Clients that are my age tend to not think of that. And in hindsight, it can be very frustrating. Take a picture of the other driver, take a picture of the car, take a picture of their license plate, take a picture of their insurance card if they pull it out, or their driver's license. All of those are very quick ways to collect a lot of data. And sometimes it's worth taking a picture of where the sun is in relation to the traffic signal or things like that. But those maybe are require more skill or knowledge. But that collecting everybody who's at the scene, the vehicles, how to reach them, those things, those are frontline threshold questions that really help us. Among other things, accident reports don't come out for 10 days routinely and sometimes several weeks. If you collect some of that insurance and contact information, we don't have to wait on the law enforcement agency to provide that information. We can get a claim up and working before the accident report is even complete. I'd like to mention we see a lot of, police departments are badly understaffed these days. We see accident reports these days with various errors, including misattribution of fault. Some folks think if they don't have an accident report, they can't make a claim, or if the accident report suggests they're at fault, they can't make a claim. That's not the case. That's not accurate. If the facts are not as on the report, we still work those accidents. We investigate. We collect physical evidence, and we present those claims successfully.
So as much as you can gather up front, it's just going to help your team.
Indeed, the more the better.
If someone has already given a recorded statement or has accepted a small payment, do they still have any legal options?
Well, certainly. That's a question, the response to which is very dependent on the details, but it's quite common that folks will settle the property damage portion of the claim early. And so that payment may have come in, but the injury claim still remains viable, and they're still getting treatment and still working on it. So maybe I jumped to the second part of your question early. A recorded statement. What we prefer is that our clients give a recorded statement here in our office with us present, so that we know what's said, we know what questions are asked, we know the focus of the investigating adjuster, and we can be comfortable and confident that client is not confused, client is not misled, client is not simply mistaken or swapped the IDs of the vehicles or something of that nature. Just the kind of things that happen, particularly when folks are nervous, as many are when they speak with an adjuster. But no, having given a statement, having had some partial settlement of some piece of the claim, those are not things that prevent working it on through resolution.
Why is it safer for an injured person to like you talked about, let their lawyer handle conversations with the insurance company?
So what we're trying to prevent is miscommunication, either where someone is confused or mistaken, or where someone is being leaned on or led by an adjuster. A lot of folks who haven't been trying cases in front of judges and juries for a lot of years don't know how to anticipate a line of questioning, don't know really perhaps how to deal with being led as a witness. And certainly, I deal with adjusters that have been in the business 30 and 40 years. They're very skilled. They're skilled at leading witnesses. They're skilled at shading testimony. What we want is for the correct facts to get into evidence and for everybody to be working from the same correct set of facts. We like to be involved in the evidence gathering so that we can watch it. We know how it's developing. We know where the strengths and weaknesses are. We know where the potential errors are. We know where the other side's focus is and how to prepare to defend that.
A lot of great tips and advice in this episode. Thanks for listening to this episode of Pierce and Schaus Personal Injury Postscript. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident in Louisiana, don't face the insurance companies alone. Visit pierceandschaus.com to connect with Chris and his team. And be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review if today's episode helped you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.